Welcome, welcome, beautiful people, to today on Beyond the Myth, and is your beautiful host, Obipiseibima. And you know how we do it here. We're going to have fun, we are going to engage, we are going to talk about a lot of things, real life realities, and we are going to make sure that everybody learns and understands. I'm going to share the link right now, so just give me a few minutes, and I'm going to share our Facebook link, our YouTube link, and our TikTok link so that people could join. Do not forget to even share the links as well. So give me a minute and I will be right back. Okay, whilst we're sharing the link, let me just play you some very good music and have you forget about your sorrows and your worries. Let the worshiper in you wake up. By my side, all day, all night, I will sing of your faithfulness. This is my soul. You are my soul. All day long, I will sing of your faithfulness. From my spirit to my soul. Welcome back, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in today, Thursday, where we discuss Beyond the Myth. And is your girl, Prissy, Obipiseibima, Prissy Cute, Auntie P, whichever one is fine. And thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, and let's get the ball rolling. And even as we go on with our discussion today, if you've got any question, any comment, please use the chat box and we would respond. So we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on TikTok. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. And today we'll be discussing on a title or something I've titled The Virus Everyone Meets and the Friends We Want to Impress. So we'll be looking at HPV, what I've titled FOMO. FOMO is the fear of missing out. You know, as humans, we have that fear of missing out, maybe because we are getting old or our friends are doing some certain things, or we think we are left behind because of time, age, money. People are getting married, people are discussing a whole lot of things, people are closing contracts, people are closing deals, and then you look at yourself and you realize that, oh, you haven't even done anything for yourself. That's the fear I'm talking about, the fear of actually missing out, the fear that nobody's going to regard you if you do not have anything within yourself, if you do not have anything to look up for. You're just scared. That fear, that thing you're thinking about right now, is what we'll be discussing. So hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Myth. And it's your host, I'm your girl, Obipiseibima. And today we are diving into a topic that sits right at the crossroads of health, identity, friendship, and growing up. It's something I call the virus everyone meets. Now you begin to ask yourself, what's the virus everyone meets? The virus everyone meets. That sounds some way, but just sit back, relax, fasten your seatbelt, and let's have a wonderful time today. So the virus everyone meets and the friend who wants to impress. So we've got the human papilloma virus that will be singing like alarm clock. Now that this title actually sounds a bit dramatic, okay, but trust me, it's exactly what real life looks like for millions of young people, millions of teenagers, millions of adults. It's what it looks like. But before we begin, I want to ask you a quick question. When you were a teenager, what influenced your decision more? Was it your parents or your friends? When you were a teenager, what influenced your decision more? So you could use the chat button, you could answer with the chat box. So when you were a teenager, what influenced your decision more? Was it your friend or your parents? Okay. So it's interesting, right? So when you're growing up, teenager, adulthood, you're getting there, influence comes into play. Some people tell themselves, oh, they cannot be easily influenced. But the truth of the matter is, what comes into play? Were you influenced by your parents? Were your decisions influenced by your parents? Or were your decisions influenced by your friend? So it's interesting, right? It's interesting. So, with the answer you've given, you're already proving one of today's key points. Peer influence matters a lot. No matter if whether we decide to agree or not to agree, we can be influenced by our peers, we can be influenced by people around us. So, peer influence matters a lot. So, it is very important to know who influence you positively or negatively. So let's dive to what I call part one, HPV 101. Now, HPV 101 is actually the virus almost everyone meets. And HPV, for our new viewers, is called the human papilloma virus. So let's start with the virus part of our title. HPV, human papillomavirus. Here's the surprising truth, actually. Most sexually active adults globally, around the globe, worldwide, will meet HPV, this virus, at some point in their lives. So it's not because, oh, they are irresponsible. No, it's not because they are wild. No, but because HPV is extremely common and often shows no symptoms at all, you see. So HPV is not like, oh, one has got gonorrhea or one has got syphilis. No, HPV doesn't show symptoms at all. So it can spread through skin to skin contact, through sexual intimacy, and sometimes even through activities that people don't recognize as risky. So you see why I've titled it the virus almost everyone meets, because you could meet this virus at the first time of you having or being exposed to any form of sexual encounter. So it's actually the virus everyone meets at a certain point in their life. So now, before you got to the stage where HPV is the virus everyone meets, I want to ask us a very important question. Before learning about it, did you think HPV was rare or only affected certain type of people? Can we use our comment section? Do you think HPV was rare or it only affected a certain kind of people? Do you think HPV was rare or it only affected a certain kind? Okay, so TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, do you think HPV was rare or only affected a certain people or affected certain people? Sorry. Do you think it was rare or it only affected certain people? Rare. Okay, so we have on our Facebook that it was rare, which is true. So it was actually rare, and it is not something that we always talk about when we talk about HPV. Don't forget to share. Please share the live, share the comments, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, comment, beautiful people. Now, exactly. So it was rare. So the biggest myth is that HPV bad behavior. So HPV is a sign of promiscuity. So we have a comment. Rita said it. She thought it affected certain people. Dompeza said rare. Ali said it was rare. So you see, so that is the myth we have. So the biggest myth is that HPV is a sign of bad behavior. No, HPV is actually not a sign of bad behavior. It is a part of real life human development. And understanding it is simply part of becoming health smart adults. But here is actually the twist that we do not know and we need to be aware of is that many young people don't learn accurate information about the human papillomavirus. So yet they tend to make decisions influenced by friends, not facts. Which brings us to the second half of our discussion today. And then we have here from my lady that most people think only sexual active people are susceptible to this kind of diseases. Yeah, that is the ideology there. That is the thought there that if you're that, then you could have, but it's is something we need to change the narrative. It's something we need to change our mind and talk about HPV because it's there, it's in the system. And the thing is, we tend to ignore it. And then when you hear people talk about it, they will tell you, oh, it's actually a woman's problem. So there is nothing to worry about. There is nothing to bother about. So it will just go on its own. We really do not need to stress ourselves. We really do not need to talk about it. So the women will carry their cross. No, but it's actually everybody's problem. It's everybody's problem. Everybody should talk about it. Okay. Okay, so it's actually everybody's problem. So we go to the second part of our discussion for today. You know how we do it here. We like to keep to time strictly 30 minutes and we are out of your way. So let's look at the friendship FOMO. Now, FOMO is what I call fear of missing out. FOMO, the fear of missing out. So we have what is called the friendship FOMO, the friendship fear of missing out. Now, during adolescent stage growth and development, the brain is wired to seek approval. Even as adults, sometimes we are wired to seek approval from our friends. We value group belongings. We avoid rejections at all costs. And it's biology, it's actually no weakness. Now, teenagers, if you take a teenager, teenagers don't think. What they want to do is, I want to take risk. They think, I don't want to be the only one who says no. So in a gathering where you've got friends and then everybody's partying, everybody's having fun, everybody's jaying and enjoying themselves, and you're just there, it takes a lot of um, growth, a lot of determination, a lot to say no in such gathering. Okay, so it's actually biology, it's not weakness. Teenagers do not think. They want to take risk. They don't want to be the only one who says no. So they have this tendency, even as adults, we also have this tendency, we say to ourselves, I don't want my friends to think I'm selfish. Okay, that thing, you don't do it. This thing, you can't afford it, but because you don't want your friends or the people around you to see you and think you're selfish, so you do it. And you have this mentality that if everyone is doing it, then maybe it's safe. So what do? You venture into it. So here's a question I have for you, my beautiful people. Can you remember a time you did something only because your friends were doing it? Do you remember a time where you decided to explore, even as when you were a teenager, even as an adult, you decided to explore, you decided to do something because your friends were doing it. So you said, okay, do you know what's the worst that could happen? So let me explore as well. And then you decided to do it. So you followed the crowd like that. Oh, my friends are doing it, so let me do it. So do you remember? I want you to cast your mind back and then remember a time you did something only because your friends were doing it. So we've got great examples in our minds, in our heads. So you see, peer pressure is actually real, but it's also normal. Normal in the sense that the danger is when fear of missing out overrides safety. So the fear of missing out overrides your own personal safety. That is when it becomes dangerous. And that's where HPV enters the story. You become sexually active, not because you want to do that, not because you want to just, enjoy your life. No, but because you don't want to miss out. Everyone is doing it. So let's do it as well. So everyone is doing it, you're doing it, and you can't even say no when you have to say no. So let me paint a real life scenario here for you. So a teenager or an adult, or all of you in this life might think or might say, oh, I heard my friend say HPV is not a big deal. Nobody else is talking about the HPV vaccine. You see, the vaccine is there, nobody's talking about it. And even the people that are talking about it's very rare, and parents don't even want their children to take the vaccine. And even you as an adult, it's too expensive that you can't even afford the vaccine. Now you hear things like nobody else is talking about the vaccine. I don't want to be different. So if I ask my partner questions, maybe you ask your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your spouse questions, and then they'll think you're being a bit insecure. So it's playing in your head that, okay, this is that, I shouldn't be asking those questions. And you see where HPV and peer pressure collide. So stay with me and I will walk you through everything. Now, everybody says they trust their partner. Is a normal quote. I trust my partner. I trust my husband. I trust my wife. I trust my boyfriend. I trust my mumu friend. I trust my girlfriend. I trust my goat. I trust my dog. Blah, 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 blah. Now, I don't want to seem paranoid, but this is how fear of missing out makes people take silent risk. Okay, so the fear of missing out actually make people take silent risk because they care too much about belonging. We care too much about fitting into a particular circle. So we want to fit in by all means. You want to be there, you want to be recognized. So it makes you do things that on a normal day you wouldn't even dream of doing. Now, not because you don't care, but because you care too much about belonging, like I've said. Now, HPV education is not just about science, it's about confidence, it's about communication, it's about healthy boundaries, and it's about peer influence. So let me ask you a question, my beautiful people. What do you think? Okay, why do you think teenagers feel, or why do you think you, as an adult that is in a relationship, feel more embarrassed asking your partner about health than actually taking risk? Why do you feel more embarrassed asking your partner, or you're having intercourse with your partner, or you're having kind of knowledge of your partner, asking health? Why do you feel embarrassed asking a partner about their health than actually taking risk? So let's use the comment section. Why do you feel embarrassed asking your partner about their health than actually taking risk? So we have some popping in. So some might be as a result of shame. You're afraid, or you're shy, or yeah, you're ashamed. And fear of judgment. You really do not want to be judged. Okay, you don't want your partner throwing tantrums and everything. So you keep everything to yourself. You don't want to be judged. Now, wanting to seem cool or easygoing. Some people don't tell their partner things because they want to seem cool. They want to be easygoing. Oh, my partner loves me. Oh, your partner, your partner is not okay. Your partner have to do the HPV testing. Your partner have to get the HPV vaccine. But no, you don't say anything because you want to seem cool or easygoing. But imagine, just imagine, just picture this scenario. Okay, so imagine if teenagers, or imagine if you as an adult had stronger self-esteem. Yeah, so prof says because to them they feel you are insecure or afraid. That is true. So imagine you, or imagine a teenager growing up, then imagine you as an adult. Okay, if you had stronger self-esteem, just picture yourself, you had stronger self-esteem, will you be where you are today? No, you won't, because you have a stronger self-esteem that will boost you to do things you want to do. You will not be where you are today. And you have your facts right. Okay, you don't just have the thing, you have the facts right. You have a stronger self-esteem, and then you've got supportive friends, not the friends that will lead you astray, or the friends that are selfish, or the friends that are parasitic. No, but you've got supportive friends. And then social media influencers globally will normalize speaking up the right things, speaking up about the human papilloma virus, speaking up about the negative and the positive effects of peer pressure. And you have schools that teaches real sexual health. Last week we talked about a comprehensive sexual education, how we should inculcate comprehensive sexuality education within our facilities to help our teenagers, to help those youths we are grooming, so they do not make the mistakes we have made whilst growing up. Now, when you're able to get all those things, when you're able to build a very strong self esteem, what happens? Suddenly, you realize that decision making becomes empowered, not pressured. You're able to make your own decisions on your own without feeling bad. You're able to make a decision, you're able to stand on that decision without saying, oh, because my friends are doing it, or because A, B, C, D, E is doing it, so you have to do it. No, you make that decision on your own. Now, how do we, let's look at the practical ways of combating the fear of missing out in health decisions. So let's explore how young people, or how we as adults can navigate peer pressure without isolating ourselves. So there's something I call use the friend test. So now, what is the use the friend test? So if my close friend did something, would I think they are irresponsible or smart for asking questions? So if your close friend did something, will you think they are irresponsible or smart for asking those questions? If you praise them for asking the questions, then you should also do some. Ask questions, seek for clarity. So there's the second one I call blame the professional. So let's say teenagers feel embarrassed to decline something, or as an adult, you feel embarrassed to decline something. You can say, oh, my doctor said this. Oh, my lecturer said this. Oh, my parents, or growing up, my everything said this. Now, the information I learned said this, or what I read on social media said this. So you shift the responsibility away from them. So Prof says that he thinks that a lot of adolescents have become vulnerable to peer control than being assertive, and that is correct. So the third one about the practical ways to help fear of missing out is create health champions in friendship groups. So what is that? Every friend group, see, in life, I think life should be very easy. Life is not something we should dilly-dally about, we should worry about. Every friend group, or be every friends group, should have the funny one. They should have the funny one. They should have the stylish one. They should have the foodie, and they should have the health smart ones as well. So you see that friendship is complete. So you normalize knowledge within that friendship circle. So there is one I call practical practice one simple line. And let me tell you the one simple line. I want us both to be safe. That is confidence, not fear. So if you're engaging in anything with someone, you want the person to be safe, you want yourself to be safe. So why don't you go get tested for the human papilloma virus? Why do you want to explore without knowing the test or the screening of that person? So you don't know if the person is positive, you don't know if the person is negative for the virus. All you're doing is sticking your tongue down there. All you're doing is engaging in intimacy with that person without even knowing or without speaking out. So you practice the one simple line, which is, I want us both to be safe. So it doesn't act as if, oh, it's a single thing. No, you want us both, so you and I, to be safe. So it's confidence, not fear. Now that's a powerful line, actually, with zero awkwardness. So I want us both. Oh, okay. When you hear this word, I want us both to be safe. So, so this person actually thinks about me. So this person actually thinks about me. This person knows that, oh, okay, we are in this together, not just me. Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. So much. HPV is actually a virus everyone meets because oftentimes you meet it at a certain point in your life. So it's not like you're going to run away from it. No. So finally, we use tech. So we set reminders for screen timing. We set reminders for vaccinations. We set reminders for health checks. I will make responsible choices. So it's not everything on social media we have to download. No. So we've listed different strategies that you could use as a young person, as a teenager, as an adult, that could help you navigate the fear of missing out, that could help you navigate the fear of peer pressure. So I want us to rewrite our story, what healthy belonging looks like. So imagine a world where you yourself feels pressure to protect yourself. Stay informed, support each other, normalize conversations about your body, about your health. That's the kind of peer pressure we want. That's the kind of peer pressure I want to see at the end of this life when you've gone home to relax, when you've gone home to have fun. That is the kind of peer pressure I want to see. Okay. So, and it starts with the parents, it starts with the educators, it starts with influencers, it starts with people like you and I. So a platform like this that talks about it. So if we change the conversation, we change the decisions we make. HPV is out there. HPV is out there dancing, jumping, shaking his buttocks, and dancing Azonto and Atlanta. Every HPV is out there. So we are only scared of HIV. We are only scared of gonorrhea. We are only scared of syphilis. We are only scared of even getting pregnant. So if we change the conversation, we change the decision we make. So today we tackled HPV, the virus almost everyone meets, and the fear of missing out, especially among teenagers, the pressure almost every teenager feels at a certain point in their life. Even the adults feel it at a certain point in their life. And the beautiful truth is that knowledge plus confidence beats peer pressure every time. Knowledge plus confidence beats peer pressure every time. Okay, so let's finish with one final interactive moment. What are you taking away from today's section? Let's use the comment section. Let's use the comment section. What are you taking away from today's session? What are you taking away from today's section? Okay, so oh, your niece has fear of missing out. How does she deal with it? Okay, so first she has to learn how to protect herself and stay informed. Also, she needs to learn how to build confidence and knowledge at the same time. So you have to build a strong self-esteem, which is very important. Okay, so what have we learned so far? My TikTok family, my YouTube family, let's have it. Let's have it. So thank you for being part of this journey today. I'm so grateful for all of you. We've got a lot of viewers today. Thank you so much on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. Thank you for being part of this journey towards a more informed, confident, and empowered generation. I am Obipiseibima, and this has been Beyond the Myths. Stay informed, stay confident, and remember, belonging feels good, but health protects you for life. Finally, your take home should be that HPV is the virus everyone would meet at a certain point in their life. And also, you really do not have to impress your friends. You really do not have to be in a relationship, have a boyfriend, do whatever you want to do because other people are doing it. Build a strong self esteem, build that confidence, and engage in knowledge. Get the right people on your side, get the right support system, and the world would be at your feet. Thank you so much. I will see you again next week, Thursday, same time, 6 p.m. And you know how we do it, how we do it. Thank you. I love you all. Don't forget to go on Spotify and search for the World Spa podcast. We've talked a lot of things on it. We've talked about trauma. We've talked about classism. We've talked about a lot of things you could learn from. And I will see you next week, Thursday, same time. And we'll have our amazing guests back on track. And please take care of yourself. I love you and have an amazing weekend. Bye bye.